Well, hi, folks. I'm Chris Dorr with Ohio Gun Owners. And in this video, I'm going to give you our take on New Orleans and everything that happened down there. But I'm going to do it in a little bit more of a broad context, and hopefully it'll only take a few minutes here. So with that, I'm just going to jump right into it. It's easy sometimes, I think, for us to fall into the idea that our mission to defend and expand the Second Amendment here in Ohio is somewhat academic. It's important, yes, but I think many times people subconsciously believe that the outcome of the bills that we push or oppose in Columbus doesn't have that much of an impact on our day-to-day lives. And I understood why people have thought that in the past. The reason why is simple. Our country has been coasting for my entire life on the social blessings of peace and prosperity that our Christian heritage and the hard work of our forefathers accrued. For the most part, violent crime could be avoided by not straying into certain neighborhoods after dark. Random acts of violence were so rare growing up that we almost never heard of it happening. In fact, growing up in the peaceful 1980s as a kid, I don't think I knew a single person who carried a concealed handgun. It was so unnecessary, people just never even thought about doing it. But the attack in New Orleans last week reminded all of us that the society we grew up in, the cultural security that America thrived under for generations, it's gone. For many, the Second Amendment is taking on a whole new meaning, and it should. Today's America is completely unrecognizable to what it was 10 years ago, let alone when we were growing up. In just the last 2 weeks, for example, we've seen a terrorist kill 15 people in New Orleans using a vehicle, a rifle, and IEDs designed to kill first responders. We've seen a Tesla truck loaded with a bomb and detonated in front of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, sending a very clear warning. We've seen a foreign national light a woman on fire in a New York City subway, murdering her, then just sitting on a park bench to watch her burn. We've seen a violent thug in New York City who was released from prison despite multiple attempts to sexually assault women, push a man into an oncoming subway train for no reason whatsoever. We saw a 14-year-old boy tied to a tree and disemboweled in Seattle by a 17-year-old monster who was released from custody by a judge even while he faced charges of armed robbery. I could go on and on. And it's not just happening in New York City or blue states like California, Chicago, or Illinois, or New York either. Just a few months ago, in my home state of Iowa, in far northwest Iowa, deep in Norman Rockwell country, a man was arrested in the small town of Hull, Iowa, on 2 counts of attempted murder and arson for stabbing 2 men, then setting fire to the house to try to burn the evidence. It's almost unbelievable, but it's not. None of this is an accident. Everything we're witnessing today is the result of a carefully coordinated effort to open up America's borders and let tens of millions of unvetted foreign national criminal illegals pour into our country. And in that massive number there are people who hate our country and hate our Christian heritage and who are determined to attack us. By the way, this hate, these attacks, they've been going on for millennia, just not here. It's been happening in other countries. Of course, the FBI and every national law enforcement and intelligence agency has been completely complicit in every bit of this. Our federal law enforcement agencies can't see a sniper on a sloped roof in Pennsylvania. They deny the New Orleans attack was terrorism, and they've refused to secure our border, but they're excellent at harassing hurricane victims in North Carolina. They get bang-up reviews for terrorizing angry parents at school board meetings, and of course, they're renowned for locating peaceful J6ers 1,500 miles away in just hours. Now, it's my hope that President Trump can deal with the federal agencies at least for a few years. But there's tens of millions of criminal illegals already here. They aren't leaving. And even if 99% of them are not here to attack Americans, the 1% who are capable of carrying out attacks unlike anything we've ever seen before. So let me recap this just a little bit. We have tens of millions of criminal illegals in our country that are unvetted, many of whom we know are violent criminals. We have federal law enforcement agencies that are more interested in harassing the American people than doing anything to stop violent criminals. We have an entire justice system that is filled with liberal and degenerate judges who release murderers, rapists, and other violent psychos onto our streets on a daily basis. And we have an American culture that is degrading in real time as it turns its back on the Christian heritage of faith, personal responsibility, and community ties that united us before. This is a recipe for violence and chaos. And the attacks that we've seen over the last few days will likely only increase in frequency and severity once President Trump is sworn in. And I dearly hope I'm wrong on that, by the way. This is where the Second Amendment takes on an entirely new meaning. Defeating gun control in Columbus isn't just a political objective, it's becoming a matter of life and death. Now, is that sensational? Maybe. But I don't think so. You see, despite all the violence that we are seeing carried out against people like you and me, we still have politicians all over this country who want to ban our AR-15s, outlaw our high-capacity magazines, register our guns, and limit how much ammo we can buy. It makes me angry, and I imagine it probably doesn't make your day any better either, but here's my point in all this. We need to step on the gas and do everything we can, defeat every gun control bill, pass every pro-gun bill we can think of right now to make it that much easier for Ohioans to be able to defend themselves in the years ahead. But don't hear what I'm not saying. To be clear, I'm not saying that this will solve the underlying problems. The solution to these problems aren't found in politics. They're found in churches, homes, private schools, not government schools. And they're found in our neighborhoods where we are all united in our culture and in our heritage, and most importantly, in our faith. Those things, those fabric of society things, those are beyond the scope of Ohio gun owners. Our job here is to make sure that the laws here in Ohio absolutely preserve and protect our right to keep and bear arms, because going forward, we're going to need those rights more than ever before. So stay free and buy another AR-15 in a case of ammo. And if you have not yet joined or renewed your membership in Ohio Gun Owners for 2025, it would be our pleasure to have you join our merry band of brothers.